Hey guys, MeLikeBigBoom here, back in the testing facility of Unturned 3.0 that I made for you guys. This is also available on mods-unturned.com if you guys would like to download this map and test out and compare guns of your own. I will link it in the description down below, so make sure to check that out. But anyway, the 3.3.8.0 update came out like 15 minutes ago. While there were no guns that were added, tons and tons of attachments were added, which I think was highly needed because we have a lot of guns and not so much attachments. And now after this update we have all sorts of sights and barrel attachments and all that stuff to put on all of the guns that we've been getting in the recent updates. So as you can see in my inventory or in my little backpack, I have tons of attachments. So immediately I'm just going to tell you the names of all of them. I've organized them the best that I could. The sights are on the left side, the grip attachments are on like the leftish middle, and then the barrel attachments on the right side. As of right now there are no tactical attachments, but I'm sure Nelson will add these very soon. So the 8x zoom scope has been in the game. The red cross scope is just the red dot scope. It's just been renamed to red cross. I don't know, maybe it changed to a cross rather than a dot, but we'll check that out. Red chevron scope, I'm assuming this is kind of like an ACOG. A red halo sight, which is kind of a holographic sight. A red dot sight, that's been in Unturned 2.0. A vertical grip was in here. Horizontal grip to reduce horizontal recoil. A bipod to greatly reduce recoil when lying prone. A suppressor for the ranger weapons, which in this instance is just the Zubeknikov, so we'll be able to suppress our Zubeknikovs, very cool. Military muzzle, which hides the muzzle flash and reduces recoil. This can be applied to the Eagle Fire and the Dragon Fang as well. And also the military suppressor can now be applied to the Dragon Fang in addition to the Eagle Fire, so that's very cool. And then there's a military barrel, which apparently increases accuracy, so very cool. So I'm going to apply them to all of these different weapons and see how they affect them. I'm going to start with the AR-32 because it's kind of the most generic rifle in the game, and then if there are any specialty attachments I'll move on to the other ones. So I'm going to start with the sights because those are just aesthetic things. 8x zoom scope has not changed. It is an 8x zoom. It gets the job done. I can kill that zombie. We've all seen that. Red cross scope is exactly the same, except now it appears that the dot has been replaced with a small plus or cross. So that's pretty much the same thing as it was. The zoom has apparently slightly been improved as well, so I don't know how much, but it just said in the update post that the zoom was increased by a little bit. So that was the red dot scope or red cross scope. The red chevron scope looks like this. It is an ACOG scope. I'm kind of liking this more than the red cross scope because it's got a more simplistic dot. And it has a little bit less zoom, which I like a bit more. So anyway, this is the red cross scope, looking very good. I like it. Let me kill the last of these dudes. Can I kill a dude all the way down there? No way. Wow, this thing is accurate. Anyway, next one, we have the red halo sight, which is a holographic sight. Very interesting. I'm not sure if I like this, to be honest, at all, because it doesn't have a middle dot. That should definitely be added. But this is the holographic sight. An improvement over the Unturned 2.0 one because it's more detailed, but not so much of an improvement because it doesn't have a dot. It needs a dot. But anyway, moving on to the red dot sight. This is definitely going to be my favorite. Oh yeah. Oh heck yeah. Red dot sights are always good. This is going to be more for medium and close range combat. I'm definitely not going to be able to kill a dude from that kind of range. Well, let me try. Yeah, not really. But anyway, it's nice and clear, open. It's got a single dot. You know what you're shooting at. Very nice. And with that is all the sights that have been added. When it comes to grips, we have lots of new options, which is very nice. I'm going to switch to this Dragon Fang because the recoil differences, I'm assuming, are probably going to be a lot greater with a gun like this. So let me put on a red dot sight. Oh no, I left it on the other gun. Oh yes, very nice. I like it. Anyway, so starting with the stock recoil, let's see, starting like this. Like that. That's the recoil pattern. Then as we equip a regular vertical grip, as you can see, the recoil has been greatly reduced. It took way longer to reach the top of that wall. And moving on to the next one, we have the horizontal grip, which reduces side to side recoil. As you can see, it was kind of squiggly squaggling all over the place. So I'm going to actually, for this one, switch to the Zubeknikov because I know the Zubeknikov has kind of an issue with that. It goes to the right, and I'll show you guys right here. So here's what happens when you shoot it normally. As you can see, it goes to the right, And then if we put on a horizontal grip, it doesn't go to the right as much. As you can see, the difference in the angles is pretty significant. But anyway, so that is the horizontal grip. And then the bipod, quite possibly one of my favorites to put on my snipers. And now that the LMGs are in the game, this is definitely going to be a must-have. It greatly reduced recoil in Unturned 2.0, at least when you are lying prone. So let me test out the recoil before I try and shoot at these guys. Ran out of ammo. Alright, reload. So like holding down, that you aren't even going to get anywhere. Like look at those shots all over the place. Lying prone now, I have the bipod on here. Lying prone, as you can see, it's much more manageable. I can actually lay down some suppressive fire down the field, and that's pretty nice. But anyway, I think in an LMG it's still got quite a bit of recoil, so you're going to have to still compensate for it quite a bit. But definitely for a sniper, especially like a fully automatic or semi-automatic rifle, by having a bipod you can lie prone on a hill and just lay shots downrange and hit people very rapidly before they're even able to find cover. But anyway, so I believe those are all of the grip attachments that were added. Now moving on to the different barrel attachments. This military barrel was something that I was kind of confused about. So it says that it improves accuracy, which I think is when the bullet lands like not where you want it to. So I'm going to put on an 8x zoom scope to truly show this off. I'm going to shoot it without the military barrel. So let me lie prone real quick for less recoil. And as you can see, the bullets are definitely not landing where I want them to. So like, look at that, landed way over to the side. And then when we put on a military barrel, whoa, it gets rid of the sound. That is a glitch. Let me test it out on where I have a static target with these little telephone pole things. Alright. Alright, so it's kind of landing where I want it to. I'm able to lay down a few shots on that. Then if I take it off, alright, so it looks like the difference between the military barrel and without it is not very much. Maybe it's a glitch, or maybe I'm having a wrong interpretation of what accuracy is. But the military barrel, also the sound doesn't work on at least this gun, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, so that is the military barrel. I will also try that out on the AR-32 or the Eagle Fire after I do this real quick. A military suppressor can be added now to this Dragon Fang, and I'm going to just do a quick sound test. Wow, that is very quiet. Anyway, that is unbelievably quiet. I definitely think that could be improved a little bit. It could be louder. That is the quietest LMG I've ever heard in my life. But anyway, definitely improves the sound of your LMG. It makes it dead silent if you want to put it on that. The next thing is a military muzzle, which gets rid of the flash and also I think slightly reduces recoil as well. So I'm going to do a quick test of it without the muzzle brake on it, and then also with it on. So here it is without it. Let me take this side off real quick. There we go. Alright, so there it is without it, and we put on a military muzzle, and oh, it also kind of glitches out the sound, but difference isn't crazy noticeable, but you know, its main purpose is to completely get rid of the muzzle flash. But I think it's also a glitch with this specific weapon actually. As you can see, the muzzle flash is still here, but let me see if it does that to the AR-32 real quick. Military muzzle. Maybe it doesn't. Alright, so maybe it's just a glitch. So it looks like the muzzle is completely pointless. Kind of a glitch. But yep, that is the military muzzle. And then the last thing and the last attachment that came out in this update is the Ranger suppressor, which can now be added on the Zubeknikov to make it silent. Very cool. Anyway, so those were all of the attachments in the game. I'm sure Nelson will fix these little bugs that are in here as of right now. There were a few other little changes that were added in there as well. If you guys would like to view the full update post, I will link that in the description down below. But that is all I have for now. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and do all that gibberish, because MeLikeBigBoom is out.
Bye.